Welcome back to another K-Dogandfish retro movie review, this time the 1987 classic, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Those aren't pillows.
Let's go!
Welcome to the very first ever retro film review. I've watched it so many times. It's truly unhealthy.
So this time we're diving deep into the road trip comedy classic, 1987, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, movie that you love.
Love it.
It's such a classic, and it inspired a lot of like two guys that are at odds or different people, like an odd couple situation, but they have to get to where they're going. So that odd couple road trip comedy inspires stuff like Tommy Boy, Due Date.
Yeah. Midnight Run.
Yeah.
It's another good one.
Perfect examples.
Yep.
This is a John Hughes film. He wrote and directed it. We're John Hughes fans. And the purpose of these retro reviews is maybe it's been forever since you've seen the movie or you've never seen it. We hope this review helps you go to see it because we definitely recommend stuff like this. Just sort of those under the radar classics. This didn't make a lot of money at the box office in 1987, only $49 million.
Yeah, that's surprising.
And that's worldwide. So with two comedy greats. So it's Steve Martin and John Candy. K-Dog, just quickly the premise of the film.
Premise. Neil Page, that's Steve Martin. He's in New York. He's got a meeting. He's got to get back to Chicago. It's based around Thanksgiving.
That's correct. Which a lot of John Hughes.
Yeah, he's a big holiday guy.
Yeah.
He's in New York. He's got to get to Chicago. His flight gets delayed. Again, then he meets Del Griffith. That's
John
Candy.
Yeah.
They end up having to be on the same plane, sitting next to each other. He realizes who he is. And then again, it's just like, again, they're at odds and at odds and at odds. And they can't seem to get where they want to go. But they're both trying to get to Chicago.
The same place.
Yeah, same place. But they're at odds with each other. And Del seems to have a lot of connections. Neil Page doesn't have as many connections. So they're using Del's connections, so they have to be together. Towards the middle of the movie, they start to realize that they actually, like each other. They start to build a friendship. It's actually really an emotional movie towards the end. Really good, nice storyline.
It's a sweet movie.
It's a sweet movie. It's a really sweet movie. So that's basically the storyline. It's not. I didn't get into it too much, but that'll give you the nuts and bolts.
The two guys that start off, and especially because John Candy's character is basically the most annoying person on the planet.
Yes.
To Steve Martin.
Yes.
To us, he's very lovable, and it's a very rare thing to have a character who is so supposed to be so unlikable and so annoying, but you as an audience member love him.
Right.
Like John Candy is one of the only people that could pull that off. And it's so beautifully written and some of the funniest scenes. What are some of your favorite scenes from the movie?
Well, the funniest scene that goes down in history is the Steve Martin rental car scene where he loses it on the secretary from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another John Hughes.
Another John Hughes movie. Loses it on her, which is like the classic scene.
With an insane amount of F words.
Yeah, insanely funny.
In fact, that movie would not have been rated R if it wasn't for that one scene.
Yep, that's true. Yep. Another hilarious scene, I guess, probably in the first hotel room they shared together.
Yeah.
Is where Steve Martin washed his face with John Candy's underwear. That's where the famous line, "Those aren't pillows," came out of.
They're like snuggling.
Absolutely hilarious.
What about driving when they actually get the car and they destroy that car, by the way?
Yeah.
When they're driving, don't they drive in the opposite lane?
It's actually such an underrated scene of how well John Hughes did that.
Yeah.
Because when you actually watch it and you watch it like a second time, you're like, I could totally see how that happened, how you would end up going the wrong way down the highway. Yeah. And then the whole idea of literally being sandwiched between those two semis was so funny.
It was done really well.
Insane. And then what comes after that is like the best. Like, seriously. So, yeah.
I love this movie so much. I think the biggest thing for me is not only is it hilarious, but it has a lot of heart. And that's something that really few people but John Hughes could pull that off.
John Hughes nails it in every one of his movies.
You get emotional and you feel how sensitive John Candy could be and how much you actually like care for this character who is beyond annoying but you love him. And then at the point where they split apart in the film, you kind of wish as an audience member that they're to bring them back together.
Yeah. And then they had that iconic scene where they're walking down down the road in Chicago to Neil's house, and they're holding the trunk. And then they play that every time you go away song. And everybody in the theater starts crying. Everybody's literally bawling. They're handing out tissues.
It's a bromance.
Yeah.
It's a bromance.
Yeah.
And you really do fall in love with the characters as Steve Martin starts to appreciate and feel sympathy for John Candy's character. You do as the audience member. And it's done so beautifully, but at the same time, this is a hilarious movie. Punchlines, just nonstop. And like K-Dog said, the scene at the car rental place where he loses it on that woman from who's the Secretary of Ferris Bueller. Just iconic. And you finally, I think he just snaps.
No, even the scene, my favorite scene in the whole movie was when after they destroyed the car on the highway and Neil had a watch that he traded for a hotel room. And Del had nothing. He was trying to trade in his Casio, and he couldn't do it. So he was like sleeping in the car, and then Neil brought him in, and they ended up just, drinking all the sample liquor and just, catching up and getting, and that's where they really bonded. And then the morning they were going out, and the rental car was still there, just destroyed, right?
I remember that.
John Candy's like trying to, it was stuck in a snowbank. They're trying to rock it and rock it. He's like, hey, put it in reverse and rock it. He rocks it. It just caught, and John Candy reverses it right into the motel, smashes the window, and Steve Martin's face, he's like, oh.
I do remember that.
Best scene in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say.
We'll pop up that face right here. Hopefully Money can do that.
Just the way he said it and the look on his face, it was just like, the best scene. Yeah.
Great movie, great cast, top to bottom, as Rafi from the league would say, T to B.
T to B. Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
K-Dog, on a spicy meatball rating.
Five.
Of 1 to 5.
5.
It's a 5. Honestly, this is my first 5 as well on our retro movie reviews. You can't find one fault. It is a perfect movie. It is sweet. It is funny. It is a classic. 5 out of 5 spicy meatball rating from me and from K-Dog. So please put in the comments your suggestions for future retro movie reviews. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Fish.
K-Dog.
We'll see you again soon.
Peace.